Welcome everyone. I hope you had a chance to attend some of our other case management sessions today. Now I want to walk you guys through a customer success story. First off, I'm Aiden Riley. I'm the product lead for our case management group. And with me today, I have Dylan Fulmer from 3E, who I'll let introduce himself.
Hey everybody, my name is Dylan Fulmer. I am the head of product management for internal applications at 3E. And I've been with 3E for just under a year, and I've been an Appian customer for around 12 years.
So let's start off with a brief overview of what case management is. Case management goes by many names, but when you look at a pattern of work, you start to see that the core workflow requirements are remarkably similar. Essentially, if a business problem requires getting the right work in front of the right person at the right time, chances are it's a case. So a little bit about the common challenges of casework. Casework almost always has a human involved at some point in the process and can be highly manual. Casework requires data from various different sources and the ability to handle exceptions dynamically while still remaining within the bounds of the application. Finally, many COTS solutions on the market for case management use cases are very difficult and expensive to modify. Using a low-code approach to casework allows you to rapidly deliver business value and customize and extend where you need to meet your exact needs. Many enterprises have multiple systems scattered across departments to handle different types of casework. Rationalizing and standardizing this portfolio of use cases enables you to reduce costs, complexity, and rapidly develop new processes and workflows as your business grows and your needs evolve. To stay ahead of the curve in modern case management, you require the ability to incorporate AI where it can enhance your caseworkers' productivity. Also, solutions need to be modular, so you're able to provide all of the features that your caseworkers need to do their jobs within the application without the bloat of the ones that they don't need. And this enables the ability to incorporate new features easily as they're released. Case Management Studio keeps your business agile using the power of the Appian low-code platform. The modular architecture allows IT departments to rapidly deploy case management applications because so much is provided just out of the box. And because business users are empowered to make changes on their own with no-code tools, it increases your productivity. And it helps teams continuously improve their customer service with advanced insights backed by Process HQ, which works right out of the box with Case Management Studio. So, what comes out of the box? Case Management Studio is a pre-built application that provides both a caseworker experience and admin capabilities to build your specific use cases and case processes. You can use it right out of the box, or more likely, take it as a foundation for extensions and customizations such as data integrations that you would need to fully tailor to your organization's exact needs. A few key benefits, and I won't walk through all of these because I think you guys want to hear Dylan talk as well, but we provided an incredible user experience out of the box, so you don't have to continually rebuild that bespoke. The modular architecture allows for simple upgrades as Appian releases new features as modules to Case Management Studio. Finally, that no-code admin design experience allows you to empower the business user to participate in the configuration of the application as never before. A little bit about those out-of-the-box AI features. We've interwoven AI capabilities throughout the application as modules to assist your caseworker where it makes sense. Summarization, suggestion of related cases, or asking questions of documents, all of these are available as modules for Case Management Studio. Case Management Studio allows your business user in a no-code design experience to configure their data, forms, workflow, and user experience. Here's an example of that no-code design experience for building case intake forms or edit views. As I mentioned in the keynote, this looks very similar to the interface designer because we took a lot of the things that work there and incorporated it into a simpler interface for a slightly less technical user to be able to build out their own forms. Because Case Management Studio comes pre-built, it allows business users to configure with no code and is designed to be easily extended by the low-code developer. You're able to enable more teams to work collaboratively and deliver faster time to value. Finally, I wanted to briefly touch on our history in this space. Appian has long been a leader in business process management. We've been building case management applications for literally decades. We've taken this experience and packaged it into Case Management Studio to revolutionize how you approach these types of applications. Appian is ranked as a leader or #1 in workflow automation, and with Case Management Studio, we aim to extend that lead. Enough from me, let's hear from the customer. Dylan, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Case Management Studio at 3E?
Absolutely. Thanks, Aiden. So again, I've been with 3E for a little under a year. A little bit about 3E first before we talk about our experience with Case Management Studio. So our mission at 3E is to enable a safer and more sustainable world. And we do that through our three primary business lines: chemical and workplace safety, product safety and stewardship, and supply chain and sustainability. And underpinning all of those sort of business lines and our mission is the sort of three things that make us unique. So we have a tremendous amount of data, regulatory and compliance data. Even more than the data that we have, though, is the expertise that we have in this space in-house. We have a tremendous amount of expertise throughout these various business lines that are informing and helping the products and services that we provide to our customers. So for instance, we have several PhD chemists and lawyers and regulatory experts that are understanding the ever increasingly complex regulatory landscape, compliance concerns, things like that. And we're providing all of that value to our customers, and also via the reach that we have as well through the sort of worldwide coverage of this ever increasingly complex regulatory landscape. However, one of the challenges that we have with 3E is that we are not often as able as we would like to engage with our data and our expertise and our reach as much as we would like to. And that's because we have like many companies, we have a legacy fractured systems landscape, we have lots of integration needs, and we have lots of growth that we are planning as well as an organization. And one of the reasons that we are using Appian more broadly as an organization is that we understand that having managed workflows are a key to our future success as an organization. Things are getting more complex. We're doing more acquisitions as a company as well. We've acquired 2 other companies in the last year. We are doing a lot in terms of process excellence as well. So we are changing a lot, we're growing a lot, and so as a result of that, we need to codify and we need to roll out these managed workflow applications to ensure that everything that we're doing in a standard way, we're doing in a managed way, we're doing in a transparent way that's visible to everybody. So that's one of the reasons that we picked Appian as a vendor to work with more broadly, and we are well underway with our larger Appian journey, building sort of larger workflows, data entry applications, things like that. However, we also know that the investment that we're able to make in professional Appian developers to develop these world-class enterprise platforms and applications, we're not going to continue to get funding for more and more Appian developers. So one of the things that I think about a lot is how can we increase our capacity for Appian development without increasing our costs? And one of the benefits that I had, like I've mentioned, I've been an Appian customer for a long time. At the last company that I worked for, we had, and they still have, a enterprise-grade workflow management application that is data-driven, that allows business users to configure their own workflows. And having come from that experience, I knew that's something that we needed at 3E as well to accelerate our growth and to help standardize our processes. And so we were about to embark on building a new platform like this so that we could enable our business users to develop these workflows and build these workflows themselves, because we weren't going to get the capacity. And then I heard about Case Management Studio. And so one of the things that's very attractive about Case Management Studio for us is that we don't have to build a platform to have the business users configure their own workflows like we were intending to.
Sounds like Case Management Studio would have saved you quite a bit of time a few years ago as well.
Yes. Yes, indeed. That other platform was a slightly different sort of paradigm in terms of its solution architecture, but in the end, it enabled the same result where business users can configure their own workflows, and you don't have to engage with the development team to do that. You don't have to have a code rollout to do that. So having had that experience, that's definitely a model I wanted to replicate at 3E, and just doing that in the right way. And again, having this offering, come out is just the right time as well. So again, going back to the content on the slide, we need the business users to be able to configure these workflows. We've tried in the past, and there's ongoing effort to have more low-code Appian training throughout the organization, but that still requires a specific type of person with a specific interest, skill set, aptitude to be proficient in sort of even Appian low-code development. And so again, we saw case management as an opportunity to increase that capacity without having to have people go through that low-code designer developer training. Because even though it still is a ramp up, and it still requires more consistent engagement as well. Because once you learn Appian, if you don't use it, it stagnates like anything else, like any other skill, it stagnates. So you want to have people who can do this. And it fits in, using case management fits in with our larger sort of internal tools mandate or strategy within 3E, that we want the staff, the employees, my colleagues at 3E to more consistently engage with their own expertise. And using a tool like this allows them to do that. They don't have to worry about remembering, did I write this rule input the right way or anything like that. It just works when they build it. So again, this is why we are sort of very interested and very eager to be early adopters of the case management solution. And in that, we are going fairly broad in our initial approach to how we're looking at case management. We have a cross-functional team, many of whom are in the audience right now, that we're all working together to build out several use cases in the case management framework. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, we want more and more people throughout the organization to see this and see the power of it so that they get more interested in it. So we have a list of POCs that we're doing right now. One of these is very sort of top of mind, the implementations management. So we have, again, we are a products and services company. And as part of our product offering, it's frequent that we need to integrate our products with customer systems as well. So we have implementations teams that do that. And so cases to manage all those implementation level activities is something that we very much need and will provide a lot of transparency throughout the business. One of the other things that we're doing is a launch checklist for our various go-to-market activities. This is, again, a workflow and a series of steps and tasks that span multiple functions, not just product, but marketing, technology, legal, all sorts of things. And so we're again, it's another way to get more people, a broader cross-section, exposed to this and interested in it as well. We're also doing content requests. Content requests and source requests are sort of tied together. Interesting thing about the source requests we're doing, this is going to be part of a larger project that we're going to be undertaking this upcoming quarter. And we're going to have parallel work streams with business users developing workflows and case management, as well as our professional development team doing the more intensive Appian development as well. And then a couple of others, we are looking at requests for our AI team. We have a very impressive AI team internally, and so they have a lot of people wanting their time, as you can imagine. And so being able to manage that time and being able to understand the nature of requests are coming in as well. Just another example of the types of things that we're doing now.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you have so many different use cases spanning multiple departments, because it really kind of shows, and personally for me, validates some of the ideas around this general framework around casework being very broadly applicable across the enterprise.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's, frankly speaking, like one of the challenges that we had, in we're still in early days, but sort of in nascent days, was just talking about this as case management because it sort of threw people off as to
what do you refer to this as, that conversation?
Exactly. So people was like, well, we already have a support system or whatever. So it's, but we're going to be integrating with that system as part of a larger case management framework. So again, we're going wide to start. Also just candidly speaking, not everything works. So we're trying lots of things at the same time to see where the sweet spot is as well and where we can build on, stack together some wins as well. And then sort of this ties into a broader application, Appian application vision that we have at 3E. And I'll be talking about this more at a session tomorrow morning as well. And so how this relates to case management, it's very similar to one of the slides that was shown in the keynote this morning. The way that we're thinking of this is that we're going to have business users using Case Management Studio because they know how their workflows work. And again, engaging with their own expertise. Set up these workflows, try them out. Again, using the power of the tool that we've seen already, we can handle exceptions in cases. We can, pop in a new task into that workflow. And what that allows us to do also is to, whereas a lot of our projects, we try to do everything at once, right? We build the workflow, build the fancy UIs, build all the integrations, everything like that. And then the last 2 weeks of the project, we're like, oh, we got to get everything working together and how we're going to do that. But what this allows us to do is with the business users configuring the workflows and not necessarily engaging with the technical team as sort of actively, they can get the workflow right and sort of test it out and iterate against these workflows at a very low cost way because there's really, it's time of the people doing this work that that they're not chasing down emails and spreadsheets anymore as well.
It's part of the process they know best.
Right. So, and then when we get it right, when we get the process right, and we get that defined well in case management, we integrate that with the larger work that's being done by our professional Appian development team that's working on things like building records, building integrations with other systems, building the sort of large sort of scale enterprise functionality. And then also tying in with our citizen developer group, that the group that I was talking about before that takes a special kind of person. We've got lots of them at 3E, luckily, but it does take a special type of person that we're going to train as low-code Appian developers. And they're sort of in the middle of both of these groups where they're taking what the business users have done in Case Management Studio and the new data source, the new API or the new record that's been set up by our professional Appian developers, and they're bringing those things together.
For the citizen developers that you're training, is that going to be a centralized function similar to the core Appian development team, or are they going to be across the various different departments of 3E?
So yeah, that's going to be very federated, and that's intentional. So we want, again, when we are building Appian applications, whether it be case management based or otherwise, we want the owners of that business unit to feel like they have ownership of their application
Makes
as
sense.
well. So that's why we're training the citizen developers to make modifications to the applications that we're building, and so that we can continue to make more and more applications as well. So that our professional development team isn't just supporting everything they've just built. So, and again, what this allows us to do, again, is to have a lot more work done in parallel as well, where we don't have just the one group of people that are solely on the critical path for project execution. We can distribute the work more broadly and in a way that, frankly speaking, we've just not been able to do using Appian before. And I think what this gives us with the true no-code design experience, it gives people the ability to really do this. Because, again, before this, it would take time. It would still take a lot of time to do that. And it's very exciting. And just this morning, unsolicited, I got one of my colleagues in Germany sent me a chat saying like, hey, I just saw the case management stuff. Can you get me access to it? So we're going to be setting up some more sessions next week about that as well. So there's already a lot of excitement. I know with the combination of our experience as a core Appian team, working with our partners in the business, that we're going to be able to make this thing. I think, and knowing that everything is built on Appian, we know how to extend Appian applications. We know how to write our own objects and things like that and integrate them with other things. So, the fact that this platform exists, the solution exists, not only does it exist, but we don't have to keep adding new features to it ourselves as well, is also very attractive. So again, we're very excited to be using this. It's early days. There are, like any new software, there are kinks that we're working out and everything like that. But again, we're confident that we're going to be able to make it work. So that's sort of our vision about how we're using Case Management Studio. And again, we're looking forward to seeing how this progresses as well. Because again, it is a new thing, and there's going to be a lot of, we expect and we hope that there's going to be more and more customers contributing to the larger sort of ecosystem of this solution as well, and we can all benefit from that. So I will hand it, thank you for your time, and I'll hand it back off to Aiden.
Thanks, Dylan, and thank you for showing me that text from your coworker in Germany at lunch. That helped make my day. Okay, so a little bit to wrap up. I hope this session has helped illustrate just how powerful bringing these various different personas into the design process can be. Case Management Studio is providing you with the speed of a solution, but the flexibility of an underlying low-code platform. All of the power of the Appian platform can be used to tailor Case Management Studio to your exact needs. With that, we'll take a little bit of time for questions from the audience.
Was speed to production an important component? This microphone works. Was speed, like a demand from your customers or from folks in your field? And then, sorry, one more question. Why so many new case types all at once?
Yeah, so speed is absolutely important. And it's not something that's coming just from external leadership as well. It's something that I personally want out of Appian as well. Coming from, my background, starting as an Appian developer and then sort of, getting to where I am now, I have very strong and very robust expectations from what we can get from Appian. You coming to this conference every year, you hear how easy it is to use Appian and how great it is to use Appian, and we want to make it true. So, speed is absolutely something that we want. It's something that I expect and something that I'm, sort of demanding from our partners at Appian as well. And this sort of fits that bill. And again, going back to why so many at the same time, we have a lot of talented people within the company who are starving for these types of applications. And so it's not even a question of me doing business development to get people involved with this. I'm turning people away, honestly. And so we have that sort of just appetite within the organization. And again, like I said, I also know that not every POC works. So we wanted to do several at the same time with the understanding that maybe one or two of them wasn't going to be as successful as the other ones. And just, if we just focused on one thing, our risk is sort of focused in that one thing. So.
Hi, I was just curious at 3E. I was just looking at Case Management Studio and was pretty fascinated about how you can hand the tool over to your end users and allow them to build UIs themselves. Have you run into any situations where they now have these use cases that they want to enable, but maybe Case Management Studio doesn't yet support that functionality? How do you funnel those requests into the rest of your backlog of other development activities? Yeah,
so we're actually building a Appian project idea intake form as well as part of this. And so, yeah, you're right. Not everything is a good fit for case management. And I will stress that we have not been using case management for years, that we have this sort of built up practice and established sort of set of protocols. But it's really just a conversation that we have with our business users, that some things just are not good fits for this. And that's fine. I have grown very comfortable saying no, unfortunately, to lots of people over the years, or we'll have to wait, and that's fine. I think there's plenty of things though that do work and do work well. And again, going from, if we look at things in terms of the business users just configuring those steps of the workflow, and maybe it doesn't work in case management completely right now. Maybe there's, and that's sort of the paradigm that we're using, is that like, we're not necessarily right off the bat trying to automate everything and make everything where humans aren't involved. It's more of the sort of codifying the workflow, making it transparent, getting it into Process HQ so we can do more analysis on those things, and then sort of adding the bells and whistles, adding the integrations with the data sources, adding the integrations with the other systems, APIs, things like that, that really sort of enable that fully featured experience. So.
Hello. So you have your business users creating this UI and the workflow in your production environment, but you have your developers.
Nope.
No, not
in the dev environment.
Oh, okay. Because I was curious, because I was thinking your integrations are happening in dev. How do you get that workflow as built in prod back to dev?
No.
Okay.
No, we're building everything. So even in case management, it's a standard sort of deployment model. So that nothing happens in production aside from deployments and people actually using the applications. We're not doing any configuration in production at all.
Yeah, and that is our recommended approach with Case Management Studio. We don't, if you wanted to do things in production, we don't block you from enabling that, but our recommended practice is that this work is done in a development environment. Objects are clearly marked as built by the business user, can be extended by the low-code developer, and then it's promoted up using your standard DevOps process.
Excellent, thank you.
I'm not caught on anything now. All right. So you mentioned a couple of times you're doing a couple of different POCs, or 10 or so. So some will be more successful than others. How are you measuring or defining success in terms of like the fit for this product?
Excuse me. That's a good question. We don't necessarily have a sort of formal methodology for defining that yet. But I will say that it will be very obvious, if it's not a good fit. And I think, where we are right now is we're not in the sort of, in terms of Appian processes and Appian applications, we're not in the state where we're in optimization mode. We're looking to get more critical mass so we can get more insight, we can get more standardization across the board. And then when we do that analysis of all of our various processes that we build in case management and elsewhere within Appian, that's when we'll be able to baseline sort of how well these processes are operating and how can we make them more efficient. But yes, it's something I'm very much looking forward to, but we're not quite there yet.
Thank you.
So as you're moving into this more federated model of development, is there a way in this application to sort of enforce certain design standards as you're pushing these out to more and more people?
Well, I mean, yeah, because in terms of the Case Management Studio, the functionality itself is, by definition, sort of limited. So, but in terms of, there's only so much the business users can do in terms of UI and things like that. And then, however, in terms of like our larger sort of design, I'm not sure if you meant design more broadly or design specifically in terms of UIs, but more broadly, again, we have our citizen developers and our professional Appian developers that are going to be doing those more intensive, activities either in Sail or an expression editor, things like that. And there are definitely standards that we have, sort of coding standards, naming conventions, things like that. But the good news is that the business users using Case Management Studio never get to tread in that area anyway. So it's, that's sort of how we're looking at it.
Any other questions? Thank you everyone for coming. If you want to get your hands on Case Management Studio as soon as possible, you can head down to the community hub. There's a demo booth that's been pretty busy running all the time. Tomorrow, you'll be able to see some of our low-code developers using Case Management Studio in the live build challenge. And if you actually want to try Case Management Studio in your own environment, talk to your account representative. Thank you for the time.